So, you did it. You bought the new electric vehicle, and the ride is incredible, right? But now comes the practical part. How do you actually keep this thing charged? And I'm not talking about hunting for public stations. We're talking about plugging in right at home. Today, we're going to break down exactly what it takes to get your house ready for your awesome new ride.
I mean, you see electric cars popping up everywhere now, but what people don't always talk about is this critical piece of the puzzle. Your house. Is it ready for an EV? Because it's not just about buying the car, it's about whether your home's infrastructure can actually handle the electric future that's now parked in your driveway.
Okay, so when it comes to charging at home, you've basically got two options. And trust me, the difference is, well, it's night and day. First up, you have what's called Level 1 charging. This is just your standard wall outlet. Simple, right? Well, here's the catch. The U.S. Department of Transportation says it can take over 24 hours for a full charge. Yeah, you heard that right. Then there's Level 2, which uses a more powerful 240-volt setup to get you fully powered up in just a few hours. So for anyone who, actually drives their car every day, this isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a total necessity. So how do you get that super fast Level 2 setup? Well, it's a little more involved than just buying a charger off the internet. To really get a feel for what a professional installation looks like, we're going to follow the process used by a top-rated expert, so you know exactly what to expect.
And our guide for this journey is M Master Electric, a company out of Newark, New Jersey. These guys specialize in EV charger installations, so they are the perfect people to help us break down what's really involved.
And right off the bat, we're talking about some serious experience here. 38 years in the business. Think about that. This team has seen pretty much every kind of home electrical system you can imagine. And that is absolutely crucial when you're about to add a major power draw, like an EV charger, to your home.
And it's not just about how long they've been around, it's about happy customers. We found nearly 800 five-star reviews for their work. That's the kind of track record you really want when someone is hooking up a high-powered device to your house's grid.
And to top it all off, they've been recognized as being in the top 1% of U.S. businesses by the Quality Business Awards. So the bottom line is, we're looking at a process from some truly verified experts. So let's see how they do it.
All right, we've established the experts. Now let's dive into the nitty-gritty. Their professional process for installing a home EV charger. What does it actually take to get this done the right way?
The owner of D&M, DK Espinoza, put it perfectly. This is the absolute first, most critical step. He said we have to make sure that the electric system in the house is adequate to support the new load of the EV. Before anything gets mounted to your wall, an expert has to confirm if your home system can even handle it. And that brings us right to the heart of the matter, your electrical panel. Think of it as the circuit breaker box for your entire house. A lot of older homes have what's called a 100-amp panel, but for a Level 2 EV charger, you really need a 200-amp panel to operate it safely. Now, if your home already has central air conditioning, that's a pretty good sign you might be okay. But getting a professional to actually look at it, that's non-negotiable.
So a pro team like D&M follows this really clear 6-step process. It all starts with them coming out for an assessment and creating a custom plan. Then, they handle all the permits, do the installation, and test everything. And the last step? They walk you through the entire system. See, this kind of structured approach is what turns a really complex job into a totally stress-free experience for you, the homeowner. Okay, the process is clear. But now, we get to the question that every single homeowner asks. What's the bottom line? Let's talk about the costs, the potential value it adds to your home, and any incentives out there that can help your wallet. It really boils down to a classic trade-off. On the pro side, you get this incredible convenience. No more waiting around at public charging stations. But the cons are all financial. You've got the upfront cost for the unit itself, the installation, and then the big one, a potential panel upgrade. And let's put a real number on that biggest potential cost. If it turns out you do need to upgrade your electrical panel from 100 to 200 amps, experts say you should probably budget anywhere from $1,000 to $3,500 just for that part of the project alone.
On top of that, of course, you've got the cost of the hardware. The Level 2 wall charger unit itself will typically run you somewhere between $400 and $1,000, maybe even more, depending on the brand, and if you want fancy features like Wi-Fi connectivity.
But there is some good news here. You may not have to swallow the entire cost yourself. There are incentives out there that can really help. In New Jersey, for instance, there's a $250 rebate. And on a national level, there's a federal tax credit that can cover 30% of the cost, up to $1,000. This is the question people ask with any big home project, right? Will I see a return on this investment when it's time to sell? In other words,
Does putting in an EV charger actually boost my home's resale value?
Well, the verdict from real estate professionals is pretty clear on this one. An EV charger is an excellent feature. It absolutely makes your home stand out in a listing, and it's a great talking point for potential buyers. However, and this is a big however, they agree it's not something that's going to let you actually increase your asking price. So think of it more like a bonus, not a core value add.
Okay, so we've looked at the process, the pros, the cons, the cost, the whole shebang. Let's put it all together and get to a final verdict. For the average EV owner, is installing a level 2 home charger really worth the investment?
So, what's the final call? Well, if you're a daily commuter, the answer is a resounding yes. For most regular drivers, the time you save and just the sheer convenience of waking up to a full tank every single morning, it easily outweighs that upfront cost. It truly transforms the whole experience of owning an EV.
And that brings us right back to where we started. As we all move deeper and deeper into an electric world, the question isn't just about what car you'll drive. It's about how your home is going to adapt. So take a look at your own garage, your own electrical panel, and ask yourself, is my home ready for the future?